welcome back to my studio. I decided to start off cutting down these vintage pillowcases for the fabric. I absolutely love this vintage floral, and I thought it would go so good inside one of the journals that I'm making. I'm making soft cover journals out of fabric and then using a stiff fabric to make the interfacing. These are the fabrics I pulled that I think would make really good covers, and then linings for the cover. Can't decide if I want to do the crushed purple velvet inside the hippie fabric, that striped crochet, or if I want to use it for the zebra. But I think it looks really good with either one. I just don't have enough to put inside both. So I've got 4 total here that I put together. This floral I'm going to use as a little tuck pocket inside that journal, and then I have this blue on blue fabric that I have, and the blue, well, it's a shirt. I still need to cut it down. I really love this vintage corduroy, this blue color mixed with this light blue Sherpa. I love the detail on the hem of this jacket, and so I'm going to repurpose that. The jacket has stains, so I don't even feel bad about cutting it up. So once I decide on the size of the journal, I decided to keep it simple and make them all the same size pretty much. And so then I just cut out this long rectangle, and I will just use that as my template, cut them all out, sew them all at the same time. I like to do batch work, just makes it easier, and I make less mistakes than switching from task to task to task. If I just cut them all at once, sew them all at once, I find I'm just turn them all out at once. I find I'm just so much less likely to make mistakes. It can backfire though, because if I do one thing wrong, I do it wrong on all of them. So that's the risk I run with this. But these are all pretty straightforward, so it should be fine. I think I cursed myself because I already cut into this fabric on accident. I had that one laying on top of it, and I accidentally cut into this one, which was underneath the one that I was cutting. So I just got a little overconfident there. I should not be cutting fabric with the other fabric under it, but that was what I do. That journal just got a little bit smaller. It decided it wanted to be a little smaller. No big deal. Okay, so this one I already have the lining on it, and I'm obsessed with this one. I think this is the one I want to finish first, but it's also kind of intimidating because when you cut into crochet, it can fray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Mod Podge to put a thick layer around the edges, and hopefully that can just keep it in place while I move it around, because if I don't move it, it'll be fine, but I need to move it around a lot. And look at the zebra one. I love this. Here's the blue one, which just feel like this is going to be a baby boy journal of some kind. And I left the opening on all of them, like I mentioned before, so I could insert a stiff fabric that's going to give them some stiffness so they can stand up on their own. That's what it's going to do. All right, so here's that fabric that I'm going to use for the interfacing. It's actually called awning fabric, and I have a lot of it. So I posted some in my shop, but I'm going to use a lot of it myself. Here's a close-up view of it. It feels almost like a plasticky canvas, and it's just the perfect weight for what I was needing. So I'm just gonna add that to my stash. It'll come in handy for a bunch of other projects. So now I'm just cutting down the extra around the edges before I turn them inside out, or turn them right side out. Okay, so first, since I did them all the same way, the same technique, I'll just describe that once, and then I'll just show you all 4 of them. So what I've done is I just cut the shape of the journal, so I'll sort of lay it okay, I want it to be about this size. And then this one in particular, I wanted it to have kind of a thick spine, so I kind of folded over like that. And then I wanted it to be able to fold over on the front. So then I cut my 2 pieces into rectangles, and I account for anything like a design element like this I wanted to end up here. So then I sew the 2 pieces together, and then I leave this open, And this does have discolorations, but I still wanted to use it. I really like that texture and that color. So then I inserted this. It's really nice to use as interfacing because I don't particularly like the iron-on type of interfacing. I just think it's such a hassle when I can just insert something like this and I get that same stiffness, and yet it's still bendable. I like this a lot. Now, that's how this one looks. The only issue I'm having with it is this is backwards. I wanted the corduroy. I want to be able to see the corduroy here, so that's just something I will work out when I make it. But then at the same time, I kind of like this frayed bit here, so I may end up keeping it. But this is number 1, and I don't know what theme any of these are yet, but I was thinking this could be a baby boy junk journal. However, I was challenging myself when I did this to make 4 normal journals, like normal journals, like journals that people that don't do junk journaling could enjoy. So with the lined pages or all blank pages. So yeah, that may just be a regular journal. I don't know. But to me, it screams baby boy junk journal. So probably will do that. I have to listen to the creative spirit, what it tells me to do. I have to follow my creativity. So things change. Oh yes, I did something a little different on this one. So when I was sewing the layers, I tucked these in so that I could end up having these sort of banded pockets here. And they're not full pockets though, because I haven't sewn down this, but I think I will go ahead and sew this down so they are pockets. And I just thought this fabric really complemented this, and I really wanted to use some of my Sherpa because I like it and I haven't been using it. So again, this is open. That's number 2. And then we have this one, which I also did the flap design on it. And look at that. Look at that wild purple on the inside. I love that. Love, love, love. It's this crushed velvet. And this one, I am going, more likely than not, I am going to cover this, and this is going to be inside the journal. And then I'll remove these pages and insert journal pages. And that's what I'm thinking for this one. Because I did leave this a soft cover, although it's not, this is upholstery fabric, so it's pretty thick. But like I don't have to figure out, and this is why I ended up getting overwhelmed, because I was trying to do too much in 1 week, and I don't want to rush my projects, so it was just a bad idea. But in this video, I'm going to complete one of these. It will probably take me closer to a week to complete, because the first week, all I did was get the covers ready. But I'll show you the process, and by the end of this video, we'll have one of these completed. So this one is my favorite because it's the wildest. So it's this amazing handmade crochet, I think, crochet or knit. Somebody please tell me, how do you know if something's crochet or knit? I don't know, and I'm not able to crochet or knit, but I can sew. So I love the idea of incorporating other people's crochet and knit pieces into my art. And this is, well, I guess into my upcycles, art, journal making, all of that. So I just thought this would make a really amazing cover, and I wanted to do the flap, and I just thought this plays really well, the 70s trim, and then this is a 70s, was a blanket. Don't be mad at me for cutting it up. I tried to sell the blanket as a whole for over a year, but it wasn't selling, so I decided to take it down and make something with it. So yeah, this is the inside. It's this is, what is this? It's from the hardware store. This is that painter's canvas. Use it to cover up an area that you're painting. But I find it's really good for crafting. Like, I've made Easter bunny baskets with it. And I'm going to make tote bags with it, I think, with some of the other some of my leftovers. This is probably not coming across, but it's this just really nice chocolatey brown, so smooth velvet. And so I need to figure out how I'm going to close this and what pages I'm going to use. And I'm thinking about not doing it all the way plain, but kind of jazzing it up a bit. So adding things like postcards, because this is going to be a kind of like hippie travel journal. So the theme is hippie, boho, sort of, I don't know. It's a theme, but it's not a theme. So obviously whoever gets the journal can just do whatever they want. But all of the stuff I'm incorporating is going to have sort of this hippie road trip sort of energy. So let me see what papers I'm going to use and I'll come back. I'm starting to realize when I'm making something, I overwhelm myself with getting out just way too many supplies that I need for that project. So I'm trying to limit myself for this one and see if that helps, especially since it's not a junk journal. It's just a regular journal, so I don't need as many supplies. I pulled this little paper pad. I pulled envelopes that I think would go with the theme, and maps, and then those postcards, and then things like this that I stamped, which will be, this is sort of like what inspired the fabric in this, or what inspired this journal. So, and then we've got another one of those. So I will get to work on putting this together and I will show you what I come up with. I do want to show you something I'm actually proud of that came out, and this is for our bedroom. It's a DIY, so I wanted to include it. Okay, so our lighting in our room is the more yellow lighting, the more cozy lighting, and this is not fully coming across, but it's this really nice upholstery fabric and this subtle animal print, and I just love how that looks. And I like how you can see the pattern. Ignore these two things up here. These are coming down. That's from the old blinds were here before. So it's like this cream color. I just like how the pattern comes through. It doesn't look good on camera. It just looks better in person. But I really like this fabric. I sold most of my really nice upholstery fabric, but I kept this one and a few others, so I was excited to be able to use that. Now, this is what it looked like before. So those sort of clunky blinds, there's really nothing wrong with them. They're free. They came with the house, but the issue is the dust. Look at all that dust. It just cakes on them. And I struggle to dust in general. Like, I just forget about it. And then I end up with all this dust. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Take them off one by one. So I've cleaned them before and it's so tedious. And because I don't do great with dusting to begin with, I just kind of dust the surfaces. I don't do this like tedious dusting work. So we put up the bar. It's very minimal, yet I like it. This was just from Walmart. And this is the one that I'm going to put on that window. It's, I thrifted this satin. It's like a pewter silver satin fitted sheet, but my husband did not want to sleep with the satin sheets. His loss, okay? But I wanted to use it still, and I saved it, and I was going to use it for lining on projects because it just feels really good. But I have another full one of these, and me and him both really like the color silver. So that is going to go up there. I'm going to work on that probably tomorrow. I can show you when it's done. I'm going to try using these overall clips to close this journal. I just think that would be kind of a cool detail. Once I decide where I want it, I'm just using my awl to poke through. And then I'm going to put one little piece on each side and just hammer it together. It's what it says on the box, but I've never done this. All right, so I think I have it hammered in, and then when I pull it on the other side, it comes off. The little piece of metal that was supposed to hold them together, it's in half. Half of it's inside the button, and the other half is just gone. It's broken. See? Okay, so here is my finished journal, and it has this cute little like textured heart and then wooden toggle closure. So it opens just with this little string kind of is holding it together. Oh, excuse my stomach growls. Okay, and so this one I did something a little different. What I did was I took a hardcover sketchbook and I actually left it in the pattern it was. So it's a travel journal or sketchbook, something you can take on the road with you. Although I will say it is kind of rather large for a travel journal, but I wanted to use this fabric and I didn't want to make it any smaller. It's about 9.5 by, I'd say 12.5. So a pretty decent size. And so then I put velvet right here. If you know me by now, you know I love velvet any time of year. I just love the texture of it. So it's like a rich chocolate velvet. And I put a cream trim here. And because this isn't a junk journal, it's all plain. So it's all blank for the person to, whoever wants it, gets to fill it out how they like. And I just did the cover, which what I like about this one is it's a very tight squeeze, so I'm not going to do this on camera, but it squeezes in this pocket and then closes, and then this wraps around, and you just, even wrapping around twice will keep it shut. And so that's how it opens and closes. And okay, so let's go back inside it. I did add, I added these little velvet flowers just because they were in that really retro style. They have a nice texture to them. I'm a texture person, clearly. Then I took a map and I made this pocket, and I took this graphic, just kind of looks like, you know, a very picturesque sort of scene, something you would see while you're out traveling. And I was really drawn to this image, so I added that as a pocket. I just rounded the corner here, and I included little extras for this journal. So these are just journal cards, so they're blank on the back, or they could be bookmarks, really whatever you want. And then I included 3 vintage postcards, all blank on the back, just because, I mean, it's a travel journal, so I thought, why not? And then I made a few little extras here. I will say the pocket here, it kind of ends here, and I don't know why. I think that was an error on my end. Like, I didn't cut the paper enough, so these kind of stick out. Here's my stomach again. These kind of stick out, but you could fix that, but I just feel like it's not that big of an issue. I love these. So I added these, I don't know if they're called rub-on stickers, and then I stamped this, which is a repurposed greeting card. And then I added brown paper to the back to cover up the ambassador brand so that you could write on the entire back of it. And then this actually opens up because it was originally a thank you card. And then I cut this out, and then I added little hippie travel mobile there, the van. And I have, I think, 1 or 2 more. So let me show you. Oh, there's another travel postcard, blank postcard. And then we have this one. Oh yes, did I do anything on that envelope on the back? There's the back of that one. And then we've got this one with the little sunglasses stamped there. and the floral cowgirl boots. And whoever gets this could have fun coloring these in too. And it's the same type of card. I was just really drawn to this floral pattern. And it opens the same, and then brown paper on the back. And the last one is this envelope, which just has extra papers inside. Plaid papers. Okay, and lastly, I did these, well, I added this, and I also added this paper. I didn't say that, but I added that paper to that, and I added this brown to make this a little more sturdy. And then we have that gingham trim I've left a little hanging off, and it matches, like this is the other part of the gingham trim, and I have it kind of peeking out there on purpose. And then I made something different this time. If you can see, okay, can you see how they're sort of the pages, but then they're peeking off the top? So I actually did paper clips, and I added these little torn brown pages and then glued on these little scenic images to go with the travel theme. So I like the idea of doing that and just coming up with more things that I can add. Like maybe the next one I could do bookmarks, or I could make a little tab that holds somebody's pin. I'm just gonna try making like the other 3 that I have cut and see how these go, if people enjoy these or if they prefer to have junk journals. So let me know what you think. If you make junk journals, or you like junk journals, or do you prefer something like this, which is more of, I guess this is more of like an art journal because it's a sketchbook. So maybe that's why I'm more drawn to this. I love junk journals too though, but I like the idea of whoever gets this fully being able to customize it how they like. That just gets me really excited. So, all right. Thank you so much for being here and watching and supporting my new channel. It means a lot to me, and I will see you in the next video.